say the grass out there.
Great. Turn the volume knob down on the top note.
They say the grass out there.
What was that?
Definitely felt less strain. I'm definitely like trying to keep the intensity up, and sometimes it's hard on those higher notes because it's easy to get real like thin or weak sounding.
Okay.
Or maybe
Did
that's
you
in my
feel like
head.
that was weak?
Yeah, maybe a little bit weaker.
Cool. I'm going to challenge you on that.
Okay. Please do it. Yes.
That sounded plenty powerful to me. Here's the thing. When we sing higher, your vocal folds stretch longer. They have to, because the length of the vocal folds determines the pitch, right? So they have to stretch longer. You literally use the word thin, right? It's like it feels or sounds thinner up there. I'm like, yeah, that's because it is. But we have to. Otherwise, it turns to, they say the grass, and it's just yelling on pitch.
Yeah.
Right? And that's not going to serve you at all. That was plenty powerful, but in a controlled way. Hey Voxstar, and welcome to From Singer to Artist. I'm Lara Chapman, award-winning singer and songwriter turned viral vocal coach and the host of this show. At VoxTape Studios, we help singers from all over the world level up their voices by teaching them the 3 fundamental skills all singers need: technique, awareness, and artistry. Whether you're looking to go pro or just develop your voice for fun, my team and I are here to help. Check the link in the description to book your first session or grab some of our other resources. Alrighty, are you ready? Let's get started. Welcome back to the studio where we invited yet another amazing singer here today. Welcome, Cam Melton.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you for being here, for sharing your beautiful song and your voice and your playing with us. I already got a little sneak peek and it was like, oh, I'm so excited. Usually people bring guitars or nothing. Nobody's brought a piano or like used my piano to accompany themselves. So I'm really excited to hear you and see you play and sing at the same time. We're going to be working on an original song of yours today, right?
Yes, Nirvana Pie.
Okay, what a cool title, Nirvana Pie. Never heard that anywhere else. How did that come to be?
It came at the end of an old relationship of mine. An ex-girlfriend of mine had gotten her dream job in California. I was here in Indiana going to grad school, and just logistically, that was just going to be the end of us. And I was devastated, but I also wanted to be really happy for her because I knew it was super important for her. And this song came out of that, the concept of going out and finding your dreams and trying to find your own slice of nirvana. So Nirvana Pie.
Wow. So it's kind of like from you trying to put yourself into her shoes, like going after her dream job. And
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm really excited to hear it. I mean, I already kind of heard it. Like I listened to it before you came, but I'm very excited for you to share it with everybody. And but before we dig into your song,
Sure.
You've done a lot. You have a lot of experience in music. You've played shows before. You have a recording studio where you're an engineer too, helping other people record their projects. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you got started in music and all the things that you're doing?
Absolutely. I grew up singing all the time. From the time I could talk, I was singing, and I did choir through high school. In college, I went to college for biomedical engineering, so nothing music related.
Yeah.
But I had some friends in college that were playing in bands and writing original music, and it was really my first exposure to people my age playing music that I really liked. I had high school friends that had done that, but they kind of didn't play music I actually liked. And so I didn't really have any concept of real people that I knew that were playing cool music. And it sort of inspired me to pick up piano first and then guitar pretty shortly after that. And they were nice enough to let me sit in and as I was learning and growing as a musician. And most of my experience with music for the first decade or so was really pretty solitary, me sitting at home with my keyboard or a guitar, and took a while before I could play an instrument and sing at the same time.
Yeah, that's tricky.
It is. think the first time I performed my own music in public was 2018.
Really? That recently?
Yeah, not that long ago.
Okay.
I mean, I had kept it as kind of sort of a secret that, I did it at home, but I hadn't worked up the nerve to do it in front of people. The first time I ever played, I think it was actually Nirvana Pie was the first song that I performed in public at Chris Wolf had an original singer-songwriter showcase, like an open mic where you each got to sing one original song at Square Cat Vinyl.
Yes, Square Cat.
And I remember going out there and my knees shaking and just terrified. I'm sure I had a whole lot extra vibrato that day just from the nerves. Behind the scenes, I had bought a little interface and started writing songs at home and mixing them kind of amateurly at first. But you do anything for a while and you start to get a lot better at it.
Yeah.
2019, I opened a recording studio with my partner, Rob Glass. He's a fantastic audio engineer. And, I had, at that point, I had toured around a bit playing my own music and toured the Midwest. And Rob was my favorite engineer that I'd worked with. So I was really stoked to open a studio with him.
Well, hold on. I need to get this timeline right. You didn't start performing until 2018, and you were on tour in 2019 already.
I was, yeah.
Whoa!
I mean, I had done a whole lot of practice before I ever stepped on a stage.
But that's amazing. That's fast.
I was just kind of terrified to ever make that first step. And then once I made that first step, it was like, okay.
It's not that bad.
I can do this.
Yeah. it's usually how it works.
Yeah.
You build it up in your head and you're like, oh my God, this is going to be so scary. And then you do it and you're like, that's actually kind of fun.
It's exhilarating. Yeah.
Yes.
Once you get out there and you see the response you get, and it's just, it's a ton of fun. I mean, it still can be terrifying depending on the circumstances, or doing new things. It's always scary, but understanding that, I can survive it, whatever happens.
Yeah.
Even if the wheels completely fall off, I'm probably not going to die.
Yes. Most likely not.
And just, finding ways to cope with that anxiety. Yeah. And then from there, I branched out into live engineering. So now I do a lot of live mixing, live engineering at Turntable and Broad Ripple. Part of the 45 family with the Vogue and Rock the Ruins and all that.
Playing live, you don't do much these days anymore, right?
It's been slow the last few months, but I had been playing with a few groups. I've done some solo shows. I've been doing some songwriter circles.
Cool.
I love that style of show where you get to hear some of the story behind the song.
Yeah.
I'm not always the best at promoting myself. I feel like as a musician, you have to wear so many different hats.
Yes.
And you have to be a marketer and a graphic designer and a promoter and sending out emails all the time. And I just don't have that look at me, Gene.
Yeah, I get it.
And that's one thing I've liked about engineering is that I can just kind of show up and do my job, and I don't have to promote anything. I don't have to do any of that.
Let's do Nirvana Pie. Let's work on that for today. Is there anything in particular that you would like me to pay attention to, or just in general?
I think one thing that I've been struggling with lately is, well, one, I don't have the vocal endurance since I've been doing so much engineering.
Yeah.
I haven't been singing as much. I haven't been doing the 3-hour cover gigs like I used to be doing. And I think that kind of manifests in some straining up on the higher registers. I think another thing that I've run into is that my favorite song, people's favorite songs of mine tend to be ones that are up at the highest part of my register and that I'm singing with a full voice. And I think that's because it brings a lot of energy to the performance, but it's definitely, they're often the hardest ones for me to sing. Yeah. Or at least the hardest to sing for a whole show's worth of song.
Yes, of course. Of course. Okay. And Nirvana Pie, where does that sit in your voice?
Well, I've kind of rearranged it to have kind of more of a, I want to say lounge vibe to it.
Cool.
So it's a little bit more laid back, and I dropped it down a fourth.
Whoa. Okay, that's a lot.
It is a lot.
Okay.
Part of that is in recognition of where my voice is right now, and with everything I'm going through, I haven't been doing a whole lot of singing
Yeah.
with my face, but
Yeah.
so I'm still just kind of trying to figure out how to make do with where I'm at right now.
Yes.
And not strain my voice, not cause any damage to my voice.
Yeah. You mentioned they removed a little bit of your muscle, right?
They did. Yes.
So it's going to be more difficult for you to move that side of your mouth. So that is definitely something we do want to keep in mind when you're singing. We want to make sure that your vocal folds are doing the job, so that we don't have to do as much when it comes to like shaping the sound of it in your vocal like tract. A lot of times singers focus only on like the shaping of the sound that they're making by like, really adjusting their mouth shape or really opening the mouth or whatever. And I'm like, okay, that's all important stuff. But also we need to make sure that the source where the sound is coming from, that's efficient already down there. So, we can see, depending on what I'm hearing, do we need to adjust anything down here, or is it more the shaping of the sound that we need to focus on? But I love that you're making your life easier by, dropping the song a fourth, and, you're not, is it 4 half steps or a fourth?
A fourth. Yeah.
Okay. So that's even more. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So, sometimes we need to just honor ourselves and our bodies and our voice where we're at and work with what we've got in that moment, right? For you haven't been performing as much. Then you also had your surgery. That doesn't help either. So, drop it down a fourth and make that work, as long as we can make it work somehow, right? Because sometimes if we drop it a fourth, then it gets too low in the low parts. So, we have to kind of like play around with it a little bit. But yeah, honor your voice where it's at in the moment.
Yeah, let me know how it works.
Okay, I will.
You've heard both. You'll hear both versions. So
okay. Yes. I love it. Well, do we want to start maybe with like the first verse and the chorus before we look at the entire thing?
Sure.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. All righty. Let's do it.
Well, it seems to me that the place to be is right just where you can see the life that you have always wanted to lead. Well, sometimes we, including me, just need to be when we feel free. So, honey, please don't stand in my way, 'cause I am leaving in all the morning, and I ain't looking back. No, I'm not. Off to find me a slice of that sweet Nirvana pie. Yes, 'cause everywhere I've looked has seemed to be I.
Nice. Bring the jazziness. Yes. Okay. How did it feel?
It felt pretty good. Yeah.
That was pretty darn good. Do you feel the piano's a little loud? You feeling okay with it?
It's just fine.
I loved it. You have, and I heard this on the recording as well, you have a crazy vibrato in the best, like crazy in a positive way. Vibrato is something you quickly mentioned earlier. Is that something that people usually mention about your singing? Or?
Yeah, it's one of the first things they mention every time.
Yeah.
And I feel like as I've kind of matured as a singer, I've put a lot of active work into like controlling it.
Okay.
It was just something that I kind of did naturally.
Okay.
At first, it was definitely not something I ever really thought about until I was trying to actually tone it back or be able to really pure a note as opposed to always relying on vibrato.
Yeah. Well, your vibrato is super fast.
Yeah.
Super. Do you know Post Malone?
I do know Post Malone, yeah.
Post Malone also has a very distinct vibrato.
Right.
So you two are obviously very different kinds of singers, but for both of you, the vibrato is the thing that sticks out to me as like the main thing where I'm like, oh, wow, that's not something you usually hear. Right. So I love it. I think it's really cool. It's super fast, super fast. With vibrato, depending on the style that we're singing, like you said, we kind of have to find that balance of how much of it are we using? Because if there's a lot of vibrato happening everywhere all the time, it's like, ooh, oh, it gets a lot. I thought you found a beautiful, beautiful balance. You know, it was there where it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. But it wasn't like so much of it that I'm like, okay, I kind of heard it. Like,
Right.
can you give me some straight tone now, please?
Right.
Not at all. I thought you found a really great balance.
Yeah, I think you lose some of the impact of the vibrato if it's always there.
Exactly. Same thing with literally anything that you do. Like when you're riffing, for example, if you're riffing all the time, all over the place, each riff that you're doing loses that impact because there's so much happening. Or same with vocal flips or whatever it is that you're doing. The more of the same thing you're doing in one song, the less impact it has, usually.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm glad we're on the same page about that. Physically, how does it feel? Do you feel any tightness or does it feel pretty easy?
I did feel a little bit of tightness. Yeah.
Mostly in the chorus or throughout the whole thing?
Mostly in the choruses when I kind of lifted a little bit into both in volume and in the notes. Yeah, I think just working on figuring out how to relax a bit would probably be useful for me.
Yeah. I asked you earlier, do you think the piano is a little loud? Because I heard you when you started playing more in the chorus, right? There's more happening playing wise. The piano got louder and you matched that with your vocals. Sure, when we're singing the chorus, usually we do give a little bit more. But I wanted to make sure that you're not overcompensating, basically. Like vocally, you're trying to match the piano because the piano is getting really loud.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind trying this, I'd love to turn the volume knob down on the piano a little bit
Sure.
and see if your singing changes at all
Yeah.
or not. Because you're a mixing engineer. You know how important the mix is in somebody's ear, like what they can hear. For me personally, when I can't hear myself well, I start pushing and forcing and straining so that I can hear myself. Right? I'm trying to get louder, and that comes with a lot of strain. So I just want to make sure that that's not the case here.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah?
And I think that it's funny you mentioned that because I have a very old upright piano at my house, and the hammers are like all the felts on the hammers are very hardened and worn and old, so it doesn't have a whole lot of volume control with my hands the way a well-oiled piano would.
Yes.
And so I think I find, because it's louder than I would necessarily like to be playing, I find myself singing louder. And I think that has led to me singing with more strain than I would if I had a more well-equipped piano.
Yes.
So this may be very insightful, what you pointed out.
It might make a difference. Yeah. Let's try it again. Let's see what happens.
Well, it seems to me that the place to be is right just where you can see the life that you have always wanted to lead. Well, sometimes we, including me, just need to be where we feel free. So honey, please don't stand in my way, 'cause I am leaving in the morning, and I ain't looking back, but no, I'm not. Well, off to find me a slice of that sweet Nirvana pie. Yes, 'cause everywhere I've looked has seemed to be I.
Okay. How did that feel?
I think you're right. It did feel a little bit better.
A little better. Did you feel at all like you were less in competition with the piano, or did that not really cross your mind?
I didn't have to fight it as much. Yeah.
You didn't find it as much.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. How you hear yourself is so important. And these mics here right now, we're not amplifying our own voice. The only thing that's being played is the piano. The microphones, we just have to record. So, usually when you're performing live, you have some sort of monitor like where you amplify your voice as well. So it's a little bit easier to get the levels right there.
Right.
Here in this little home studio, we don't have that. I'm sorry. But that, I thought that was really great. And I definitely don't think you have to work any more or be any louder in that chorus. There's no need for it. I know as singers, it's sometimes like, but I can. So I want to. And I'm like, I hear you, but you don't have to. So save yourself, because all that's happening when you're louder is you're not technically actually much louder. The only thing that changes is how much effort it takes to make that sound.
Yeah.
So you're really just working harder to be maybe 2% louder.
I feel like some of it is like I feel like I have more control
Yes.
when I put more into it.
So here's the thing. When you're belting and when you're loud, it's much easier to sing that way than when you're singing in a soft, breathy voice, for example. Like Billie Eilish, right? Very soft, breathy kind of singer. That woman has insane control over her instrument. It's much harder to sing that way than a big belty kind of thing because you don't have all the force behind it.
Right.
So you really need to make sure that whatever it is you're doing at a vocal fold level is solid. So you're not relying on all that air pressure and that force to get the notes out.
Right.
So this is actually going to be great for you to practice how to get that same kind of sound without the force behind it and still feel like you're in control.
Okay.
Okay. Question for you, because of your surgery, opening your mouth, how far does it still feel okay, like dropping your jaw?
I could probably drop it more than I am.
Okay.
Yeah. There's some limitation there.
Yeah.
And it still feels kind of unnatural, like it's like stretching a lot.
Yeah.
But, I could probably open more.
Okay.
You feel like that would be useful?
So, when it comes to dropping your jaw, like it's not always the solution. Okay. And this is very much the sound has already been produced. Post sound production essentially is what we're doing here, is when we're adjusting how much we're opening the mouth. Mm-hmm. So this is, again, just shaping the sound that your vocal folds have created. With you, I don't necessarily think you need to open a ton more, because on those bigger notes that you're sustaining a little bit longer, you're opening nicely. I just want to make sure that you're also feeling that openness in the back of your mouth too, not just in the front, so that you have this feeling of space.
Okay.
And more resonance, essentially.
Sure.
Right? So can we try the chorus only on la la la? And when you're doing la 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 la, try to keep your jaw still and only move the tongue. La 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 la. Can you just try that?
La 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 la.
Okay, great. Yeah. La 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 la.
La 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 la.
That was a beautiful scale. Yes, I love it. Can you open a little bit more? Does that feel okay?
La 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 la.
Alrighty, so here, this is your tongue is working really hard to make that happen.
Yeah.
Your tongue and your jaw are best buddies, and they want to do everything together. And moving them individually, like separately from each other, is really, really, really hard.
Yeah, I was surprised by how hard that was when I was doing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Try one more time, maybe like halfway open this time with your jaw. La 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 la.
La 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 la.
Okay, is that feeling okay?
Yeah.
Okay, slightly more open.
La 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 la.
Uh-huh. La 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 la. So you're kind of, this is so interesting. Can you try na na na?
Na 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 na.
Okay, so your tongue is doing the same thing. That is so interesting. Can you just sustain? Okay, now do you feel a difference in your tongue position when you're doing that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. When you were just doing it la 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 and na 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 na, you did the same thing for your tongue. It was really, you kind of created like a ditch in your tongue, and the tip went all the way up. La 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 la, kind of like that. La la la. And na 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 technically is further back. It's not the tip of your tongue. Like is the tip of your tongue going up to the roof of your mouth. Is not the tip of your tongue. It's a little further back. It's not all the way back, like would be all the way back, but na 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 is somewhere towards the front of the tongue, but not the tip of the tongue.
Okay.
So try that one more time and see if you can get not the tip of your tongue, but the front third maybe of the tongue up on na na na.
Na na na.
Great. Now keeping the jaw still. Na 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 na.
Na 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 na.
Uh-huh. Can you open a little bit more?
No, 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 no.
Yeah. This is so fun. Okay. Your tongue is like, what is
It
happening?
is. It really is.
Yeah. So, some people have more tension in the neck, others more in the jaw, and some more in the tongue. For you, just seeing this, like how your tongue is trying to fight you a little bit on that la 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 or na na na, my guess is the tongue is probably the thing that's holding the most tension in your singing.
Okay.
So before we actually do the la 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 on the melody, let's do it with a gentle tongue bite. Great. Can you try the whole chorus that way? And focus on keeping the tongue still. Okay, talk to me about that experience.
Felt weird. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I'm more up into my sinuses in the way that I.
Yes. Yeah, because all your sound is coming out of your nose now.
Yeah.
Right? Because your mouth is closed. If you close your nose, there's no sound coming out anymore. Right?
Yeah.
So makes sense that you're feeling the sound more up here in your sinuses because that's literally where it's coming out.
Yeah.
Did you feel anything in your tongue at all?
I feel like, well, one, having it locked in, I felt like there was like more space back in the back because it's like very forward in my mouth.
Yes.
It felt like there's like a different type of back pressure in how I'm singing like that.
Did you feel it twitch at all or wanting to kind of like pull back into your mouth in any parts?
Oh, definitely. It did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
And trying to like be conscious and hold it there while I'm playing. I'm like, oh, how do I play this again?
Yeah.
What's the melody again?
Yeah. It's a lot to focus on all at the same time, especially when you're also playing, right?
Yeah.
But okay, so if your tongue is trying to kind of like move back into your mouth, it's what we call tongue retraction, right?
Okay.
And that's just a form of tongue tension. And it makes sense that you feel like there's more space back here in the back of your mouth now because your tongue is not trying to curl up back there.
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of what I was talking about before with creating space. Initially, I thought maybe it was your jaw, but that was just my guess because of your surgery, right?
Yeah.
But it seems like it's actually more your tongue than your jaw.
Okay.
So can we try that one more time? If you want, you can do it a cappella so you don't have to play at the same time too, if you feel
Okay.
comfortable enough like with the melody without playing. Okay, let's try that. Hold on, that's a different key. Give yourself the first note. Okay.
It feels weird.
It feels weird. Yeah.
I liken it to changing a golf swing, where every time you make a swing change, it feels so awkward at first. And I'm sure it's the same sort of thing. Like I've just got all these years of muscle memory.
Yes,
into
100%.
how I produce all the sounds that I'm making, and so changing the architecture and the structure of how everything is in there definitely feels weird.
Yeah. Talk to me about effort levels. Do you feel like it takes more effort to sing this way? Less effort? About the same?
I feel like I feel less strain here.
Cool.
But it's harder to push out. There's so much more pressure going through my nose.
Yeah.
As opposed to coming out my mouth.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling that.
Okay, so let's make a modification so that we don't have the sound coming out our nose, but rather out of the mouth. So that way we can hopefully still feel less strain because we're still sticking the tongue out, but the sound is not coming out of your nose.
Sure.
So all you got to do is just open. Now you're not biting on your tongue anymore. So it's going to be much harder to keep the tongue still this way. Obviously, it doesn't sound pretty. Doesn't sound pretty, right? But we just want to focus on relaxing the tongue as much as possible. Keep it nice and rounded. Not pointy. That's a pointy tongue. Pointy tongue is not a relaxed tongue.
Okay.
A round tongue, a round flat tongue is a relaxed tongue. And so forth.
Okay.
Yeah? Let's try that. Okay. How was that?
Easier, yeah.
Easier?
Hey,
Okay.
oh, yeah.
How was that last note? That very last note?
Yeah, I was definitely feeling a little strained on that one.
Yep. I could literally see it in your tongue,
Yeah.
right? Your tongue was like pushing down. And then when you released, it was like, it came back out, right?
Yeah.
And it relaxed again. So this is all about awareness building here, right? Like when we want to make some sort of change to our singing, we first have to figure out, well, what is holding us back, right? And now I truly believe that your tongue is a big factor in your singing. So like for your effort level, right?
Yeah.
Like if we can relax the tongue just a little bit more, release it a little bit more, have it chill out, your effort levels are going to drop, right? So every time you feel like you're working a little bit harder, I can literally see it in your tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So different ways to practice this. Let me know if we can do this because of your surgery, but just holding your tongue and just kind of like pulling it out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Do you want to try it, or do you think it's going to put too much strain on your scar?
No, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay.
Yep.
So you're just going to grab your tongue and then same thing. Okay, great. I'm going to pause you right there. Let's try that one more time. Take both of your hands and add a wiggle to it. Okay. Relax. How was that?
That feels more relaxed
Cool.
back here.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you feel a difference between no wiggle and wiggle, or was it about the same?
It'd be tough for me to determine the difference between practicing now 3 times with my tongue out singing
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. I know. Sorry.
Like, okay, it's starting to feel a bit more natural the 3rd time I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it did feel a little bit easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
With the wiggle too, it's coming out of your wrist, right? And it gets easier to actually add the wiggle as you do it more and more and more.
Sure.
Just make sure you keep your head still. Like, you're gonna get very disoriented if you do that.
Sure.
So try and keep the wiggle in your wrist.
Okay.
The wiggle is just to add movement. When we add movement, your muscle can't tense up.
Sure.
So that's why I like to add movement when we try and release tension. Okay. And this is kind of the best way to do it with your tongue. Just adding a
Sure.
little bit of a wiggle with a paper towel. Make sure you don't use tissues or toilet paper that will dissolve on your tongue and it'll be a big mess. Okay.
Makes
Tissues
sense.
or some sort of cloth will work as well. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, that was awesome. It's just getting that tongue out of the way. And this way we can do it with an open mouth compared to the tongue bite, where all the sound is going to come out of your nose.
Yeah.
But you do need your hands. this way.
Yeah.
Right? That last note was a lot more free this
Yeah.
time around than the previous time. Did you feel a difference?
I totally felt it.
Yeah?
Yeah, this is fascinating to me. I love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Let's try it with a wiggle one more time just so we can get used to this feeling.
Okay.
Do you want a new piece? Are you feeling good?
I'm fine with
You're
this
good?
one.
Okay.
Yep.
And then we'll do it with the lyrics. I mean, that last note, man. Woo! How was it?
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will definitely be doing this.
I like this a lot for you.
Okay.
I really do. This is going to be great. And let's try with the lyrics. Let's just see what happens. So you can put the paper towel wherever. And then, yeah, let's try with the lyrics. See what happens. Focus on pushing your tongue forward as you're singing.
Okay.
Okay. It's going to feel a little weird, but we again just want to fight that tongue retraction by
Right.
doing reverse tongue tension, pushing the tongue forward rather than back.
Right.
Okay. Let's try.
'Cause I am leaving in all the morning, and I ain't looking back, no I'm not. Off to find me a slice of that sweet Nirvana pie, 'cause everywhere I've looked has seemed to be out.
Okay. How was that?
That feels a lot less tense.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. I was intently staring at your tongue the entire time. I'm sorry if that feels awkward.
No, you're good.
Just trying to see what your tongue is doing.
Yeah.
That was pretty darn good. Can you try one more time before you do on a scale of 1 to 10? How loud was that?
Probably a 7 or 8.
7 or 8? Can you give me like a 5?
Yeah. Okay. 'Cause I am leaving in all the morning, and I ain't looking back, no I'm not. Off to find me a slice of that sweet Nirvana pie, 'cause everywhere I've looked has seemed to be out.
Okay. How was that?
Good. Yeah. I can definitely feel way less tension.
Cool. I don't think you need to be any louder than that.
Okay.
Again, more volume just requires more effort.
Yeah.
And there's really no need to. As long as we're still getting the tone that we're looking for, right? Like I make a difference between tone and intensity. Wrong. Tone and intensity is the same thing. Volume. So intensity and volume, or tone and volume. Those are the things that I'm differentiating. And just more volume is not going to get you anywhere
Right.
because we have microphones. Almost always, right? And so I'd rather focus on the tone and then only use as much effort as I need to get the tone the way I want it to, no matter what the volume is on it, right?
Yeah.
And that was still more powerful and louder than the verse,
Yeah.
right? So you still have the contrast because I don't want to remove the contrast, right? That was really, really, really good.
Awesome.
Can we do first verse and chorus together to just kind of like see how it evolves into the chorus?
Yeah.
Do you want to play while you're singing?
Sure.
Yeah, let's try.
Well, it seems to me that the place to be is right just where you can see the life that you have always wanted to lead. Well, sometimes we, including me, just need to be where we feel free. So honey, please don't stand in my way, 'cause I am leaving in the morning, and I ain't looking back, no I'm not. Well, off to find me a slice of that sweet Nirvana pie, 'cause everywhere I've looked has seemed to be out.
Cool. How was that?
Good. Yeah. Real good. Yeah.
I like it a lot. I like it a lot. That was really nice. No notes. One note. Look in the chorus, the word look. You're kind of modifying that vowel there to like a Luke.
I think some of that is me trying to focus intently on my tongue positioning.
Okay.
As opposed to like my diction.
Fair.
And so it'd probably be something I would tweak after I kind of got used to.
Fair. Totally fair. Look compared to Luke is going to be a lot easier to sing though.
Okay.
Look, because it's more open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look.
Okay.
Look.
That makes sense.
What's that phrase?
Everywhere I've looked has seemed to be out.
Yeah. Can you try that phrase one more time?
Because everywhere I've looked,
Yeah.
has seemed to be out.
Yeah.
Okay.
How was
yeah.
that?
I like that. Yeah. That definitely is an easier
Very nice.
syllable or vowel sound. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. Keep that. That's good. It makes it easier to understand what you're singing too, right? Because like Luke, I'm like, what is that? Look. Because that's how we speak it too, right? Look.
Right.
We don't say Luke. We say look.
I am your father.
There you go. Perfect. Very nice. Questions about first verse chorus? Are we feeling good there?
I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah. I like this. I think this will definitely be something I'm incorporating into my practice regime.
I love it. Do we want to keep going with the rest of the song?
Sure.
It's into the second verse.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got.
Falcon paths and mystery doors with jaws of truth and battle scars I carry with a heavy load.
Nice.
Well, I don't know if this is right, but I just can't keep losing sight of the things in life I know that I need. So I am leaving in the morning, and I ain't looking back. No, I'm not. Off to find me a slice of that sweet Nirvana pie. 'Cause everywhere I've looked has seemed to be out.
Cool. I'm happy. How are you feeling about it?
I feel good.
Cool.
Yeah, I feel real good.
Very nice. You had some beautiful riffs in that second verse too.
Yeah.
And you nailed them.
Thank you.
No notes. Moving on to the bridge. Do you have a bridge?
I do have a bridge.
Yeah, let's do the bridge.
Hot wet dreams ain't just a whisper. You can't talk about with no one else. They say the grass out there ain't always greener, but I tell them all about it once I find out for myself. 'Cause I am leaving.
Okay, awesome. Do you mind if we
No,
pause
that's
right
totally
there?
cool.
Cool. How did that bridge feel?
Pretty good. I mean, there's that like high note that I hit that is like probably the highest in the song. If I
Up until this point, it is.
yeah
If it doesn't go higher at the end, then yes.
yeah.
Yeah. How on earth did you ever do this? A fourth higher.
Oh, the melody's changed. It's
Okay.
It's a very different song. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I'm sorry, what? Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes me feel better about myself. Okay. Can we try that high part one more time? Can you do it so I can hear the melody one more time? You can do the whole bridge if it's easier.
Hot wet dreams ain't just a whisper. You can't talk about with no one else. They say the grass out there.
All right. Da, 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 da. What's the lyrics on that?
They say the grass out there ain't always greener.
Oh, they say the grass. You're singing grass. Grass out there. And I'm like, what's grass? Grass. They say the grass. They say the grass out there. Yeah, so you're singing it more internally. That gives you that grass sound compared to grass. It's a little grass is gonna have a lot of like force behind it if we're really opening it up.
Yeah.
Well, let's just try it. Let's see what happens. They say the grass.
They say the grass out there.
Great. Turn the volume knob down on the top note.
They say the grass out there.
What was that?
Definitely felt less strain. I'm definitely like trying to keep the intensity up, and sometimes it's hard on those higher notes because it's easy to get real like thin or weak sounding.
Okay.
Or maybe
Did
that's
you
in my
feel like
head.
that was weak?
Yeah, maybe
or thin?
a little bit weaker.
Cool. I'm gonna challenge you on that.
Okay, please do it. Yes.
That sounded plenty powerful to me. Here's the thing: when we sing higher, your vocal folds stretch longer. They have to, because the length of the vocal folds determines the pitch, right? So they have to stretch longer. And it's just like a rubber band. When we stretch out a rubber band, it gets thinner. Yeah? It's the same thing for your vocal folds. So when you literally use the word thin, right? It's like it feels or sounds thinner up there. I'm like, yeah, that's because it is. But we have to. Otherwise, it turns to, they say the grass... and it's just yelling on pitch.
Yeah.
Right? And that's not going to serve you at all. That was plenty powerful, but in a controlled way.
Sure.
Not a yelly kind of way, right? And it's hard. Like when we're used to singing something a certain way, it's very much like, oh, this is less than what I was doing, so it's not powerful enough. And I'm like, no, actually, that was plenty powerful. Like the tone was spot on that.
Okay.
I don't think you have to do more.
Okay.
Yeah, I am giving you permission to do less.
Thank you.
No, really, because that sounded amazing to me. That sounded way more controlled, way more sustainable, yet still plenty powerful.
Okay.
I'm not missing any sort of power. And by the way, when I'm telling you this, I'm also equally as much telling this to myself because I struggle from the same thing. Just always too much. You don't need to work any harder than that. That was amazing. I loved that. One thing I did hear was, they say the grass out there. Like a release of breath at the very end. Mm-hmm. I love that as a stylistic tool. I just want to make sure that you're not doing that because you're not really using your breath in the phrase. You know, like sometimes when you get to these higher notes, we like, and then we kind of hold everything back because we kind of get afraid.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're still keeping that flow of air. That's going to be the support for the top note. The airflow.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you just give me a sigh, like a Great. Can you make that breathier? That was quieter, not necessarily breathier. More There you go. That's breathier. Now give me a little bit more volume on that while maintaining the breathiness. Great. Okay. How does that feel?
I definitely don't do a lot of breathiness, and I've actually wanted to incorporate more of that into my singing.
Okay.
And one thing I've really wanted to like it was the tone back that like just all the time.
Yeah.
And be able to do really intimate things real up on the mic,
Yeah.
get real hot and hear that like breathiness and
Yeah. Well, it's going to be great as a stylistic tool if you want to use it, but it's also going to be great for your overall vocal technique.
Yeah.
Because when we're practicing breathy, and you know, some people out there say like breathy singing is going to hurt your voice. And I'm like, no, it's not. Excuse me, it's not. It's actually, for a certain kind of singer, can be very helpful. I personally am a very pressy kind of singer, too much compression. So practicing breathy singing helps open up my vocal folds a little bit more so they're not squeezing together so tightly, so I can get more flow, more breath flow, okay? And with you on that high note, it's a similar concept. Sorry, you were going to say something?
I was going to ask what you mean by compression in singing like that.
Yes, so there is a breathy to pressy spectrum when we sing. Billie Eilish is very breathy. That's really pressy. So that's what I mean with compression, right? Like a lot of compression, too compressed in my vocal folds. They're just squeezing together. And I can do that on the same notes too. right? Going from really pressy to breathy. And usually, most of the time, we want to be somewhere in the middle, right?
Yeah.
So it's more like a where we're not breathy, but it's also not squeezed.
Absolutely.
Right?
I feel like I do a lot of pressiness, and I struggle to do the breath. It feels very unnatural to me to do that.
Okay. That's amazing. Great observation. Glad you're telling me that. Practice that.
Okay.
How do you practice that? Sighing.
Yeah, I struggle to even do that when you told me to do it on command.
Yeah, it's hard, right? Yeah, you're just really focusing on pushing air out.
Okay.
And add an H in front of it. Right?
Yeah.
Try that. Yes, there you go. That's it. Now all we need to do is add more control to that, right? So that we can sustain it for longer. Great. Can you also try that up higher in your range too? Great. So up there we got a little bit more.
Yeah,
right?
I felt myself like
There
press
you
a
go.
bit.
Yes. You can move your upper body a little bit if you want. That was a little better already. Add that H, right? Yes, yes. So the H is what pushes your vocal folds apart, right? So that it's easier to be to maintain that breathy sound. Okay, so practicing that is going to be great for you, and then you can do that on scales, right? Like a, for example, right? Or also only over a third. Works as well. It's just really whatever you want to play around with. It doesn't really matter. And then you just go up. And you're really just focusing on that breath flow, making it sound breathy. At first, you're going to run out of breath really quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's okay. That's the first step. The next step after that is decreasing the breathiness while still sounding breathy. And that is something Billie Eilish has absolutely mastered.
Yeah.
Because she has really long phrases in her songs, and yet she's singing breathy through the entire thing. And it's like, how are you not running out of breath?
Yeah.
So controlling then how much breath is coming through while still sounding breathy is the next step after that.
Your observation that kind of triggered this whole, I think you're spot on, in that I take a big breath to make sure I've got like that pressure.
Yeah.
And I am pressing in that note. And I think a lot of it is like a fear that if I'm not keeping that pressure there, I'll lose my pitch control. And I'll go flat.
And you might at first, because your body's not going to be used to it. We don't necessarily want to rely on pressure because that's exhausting.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, focusing more on flow instead of pressure. Like if you can just have that mental change, turning pressure into flow, that might already be enough to help you, just get those notes out a little bit more easily. Can you try that? Let's just see what happens on that. The grass ain't always greener.
They say the grass out there ain't always greener.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. They say the grass. Can you almost do like grass? You're adding like an H in there.
Yeah. They say the grass out there.
One more time.
They say the grass out there.
Great. Can you move your arms at the same time?
Yes. They say the grass out there.
Great. I literally, like, when you're singing grass, you're just, they say the grass out there.
Yes, I know. I know.
I'm exaggerating, of course, but there was a little bit of a tension moment,
yeah,
right?
I felt it too.
Okay, there you go, because your body is like, that's what we do on grass.
It's like, oh
right?
God, here it comes.
Exactly. Try it one more time.
All right. They say the grass out there.
That was already a little better. They had a little bit of a hand swoop on the grass. One more time. Try and keep it loose in your upper body.
They say the grass out there.
Okay, that was less body tension. How was that?
It was okay.
It was okay?
I was still feeling it up here.
Yeah, it's just a matter of flow, right? We need to add just a little bit more flow. So I would love for you to practice that on a breathy voice.
Yeah.
They say the grass out there. It's okay if you run out after grass and you have to take a breath for out there. Again, that's not really what we're focusing on. We're just focusing on opening up the vocal folds so that we can move from that breathy to pressy spectrum. We can move that pressy just down a little bit.
Yeah, I can feel myself fighting that, and I need to relax into it.
It took me a good 2 months personally, and it changed everything in my singing.
Okay.
Like practicing breathy singing, literally, it's the best. It was the best thing for me, and not for everybody, but I think for you, it's going to be really great too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you feel okay practicing that on your own time, your own time? Yeah. Awesome.
I feel like I would feel more comfortable practicing that if I wasn't on camera or there's a microphone.
Yes, of course.
Where I'm like,
of course.
I don't have to worry about going flat if I'm just at home.
No.
My
Yeah.
anxiety is
you're just making sound, right? It's really what it comes down to, just exploring your voice. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And exercises are not meant to be amazing sounding or perfect or anything like that.
Right.
We're just isolating certain parts of our voice.
Okay.
Absolutely. Last part of the chorus, is that, last part of the song, the last chorus, is that pretty much the same as the other?
Yep. It's the same chorus.
Same chorus?
Yeah, pretty
much. I'm feeling good about the chorus. How are you feeling about the chorus?
I feel pretty good about that, yeah.
Okay. So 2 main things for you. Tongue.
Yeah.
Right? Your tongue, getting that out of the way. And flow, the breathy singing stuff that we just did, right?
Yeah.
Those 2 things I would say are the main things for you to reduce effort and still get a great sound. And also, the very first thing we did is volume, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to be quite as loud. So I guess 3 things: volume, tongue, flow, breath flow.
Okay.
Those are the 3 things for you. Do you have any questions about any of those 3 things or anything in general?
No, I think we've covered it. I asked as we went.
Yeah. Amazing. I mean, either way, whether you apply any of these things or none of these things, you sound great, right? Now it's just a matter of, can we get that same result with like half the effort?
Right.
So that you can do it again and again and again and again and again and not get tired.
Right.
That's the goal. Yeah?
Awesome. Well, thank you so
love
much.
it. Absolutely. Please tell everybody, where can we listen to your music?
Yeah, Cam Melton Music. You can find it at cammelton.com or on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, Bandcamp.
How many songs or albums have you released? Do you know?
I've got 3 singles and an EP out.
Okay, very cool. So we've got some good stuff to listen to.
Yes, and hopefully more soon.
Okay, very cool. I'll be sure to include those links as well, so they can find the link in the description or in the session notes or the episode notes. Anything else you want to get off your chest? You feeling good?
I feel great. Thanks for having me.
Of course, anytime. Thank you for sharing your beautiful song with us. I hope this was helpful. You have some things that you can practice now in your own time.
Oh, this was awesome.
Perfect. I'm glad. And hopefully we get to do this again sometime.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you want to do a session like this, but over Zoom, depending on where you are in the world, the link to book a session with me is in the description below. So feel free to check that out. I'd love to have you in a session. Otherwise, we'll catch you in the next episode. Bye-bye.